Hello everyone, how are you? Today is January 6th, which of course is National Technology Day. Now, this is the first episode in a new series I want to try where I dual queue with a fellow Overwatcher and we have a nice discussion. So today we have my good friend IoStux, a fellow YouTuber who also puts out educational Overwatch content. You might have heard of him. So, Io, do you use technology?
I definitely do. I do right now, actually, in order to talk with you.
Oh, and true. This is, isn't it?
I'm actually quite the fanatic. Currently, CES is going on, which is, amazing. So it's actually kind of fitting that today is National Technology Day.
True, true. But you didn't know that it was National Technology Day until I told you.
Well, no, I didn't. But I guess you're kind of the master at these things.
All right. Anyway, so today, of course, we want to talk about the new patch notes. And there's not too many, but they might have a decent effect because we got some hard-hitting changes on a couple of heroes. You've seen them, right, Io? Right? I hope.
Oh, yeah, I saw them. Rip Diva, but let's not spoil us.
Rip Diva? Well, we'll see about that. Okay, so, by the way, we're playing quick play because IoStux is too much of a wimp to play competitive with. What's your ping in NA?
Currently 0 MS. Okay, now it's 130.
130? Psh. Come on. 130. I'm going to pick a hero who I'm very skillful at.
Oh god, no.
Sombrero.
Okay, so we'll try stuff out today.
Alright, so, first change, Ana Grenade. Alright, we're going in alphabetical order here. Alright, well actually no, that's not the first change. If we really want to go over the first change is the emote wheel. Alright, that's huge. We can store up to 4 emotes, or sprays. So we have like on-demand BM all the time.
And to be honest, this is actually the change that I'm most excited about, which says a lot about this patch already.
There you go, big priorities. So yeah, if you if you school someone, if you own someone with Ana, you put them to sleep, you can use the tuck you in emote. You just have the emote for any circumstance. But all right, let's get to the real stuff, of course. So we have Ana. Ana's biotic grenade. Healing boost has been decreased by 50%. But that's it. So, do you think this is a big or small nerf to begin with?
I think this is a very small nerf. My opinion on the change is that if they would have stealth patched it, like they would have just applied it to the live service without telling anyone, it would take at least 2 weeks until someone started to notice. It's incredibly minute.
Which is funny because it's like a 50% nerf is still half, right? That should be quite a lot.
The change in of itself is a lot, but it's in relation to how you play Ana at the moment. The grenade isn't used really for its healing boost. You mainly use it to boost healing on the teammate if you really need it, especially characters like Diva. Or the main reason, at least in my own gameplay, is to counter the enemy healing. So I never use it with the intention of, I need this extra healing buff. I always use it with the intention, I need to reload and this guy is dying, or the enemy's in here to just use Transcendence. So if the grenade was used in a different way, then yes, this would definitely be noticeable. But I think that Blizzard is going with the wrong approach here.
Really? Well, yeah, definitely. I think that I use it for the healing buff. When I do use it on an ally, I use it for the healing buff quite a bit. But I think the difference between 100% and 50% is like not a lot. It's the difference between overhealing someone and just not.
Basically, yes. Yeah.
But you're right. I usually use it for the anti-heal. I think the anti-heal is way stronger than the healing buff. And so I thought that it was interesting that they didn't nerf that, because that's the main thing with it is the anti-heal. That's the thing that's making her so picked. One of the more popular picks right now is because there's so much healing being thrown around. Everyone has a heal. The healing that is there is insane. And so with Ana, you can deal with all of that.
Basically, yeah. I think it's kind of interesting how they approach this. If we just look at the current support situation, then, Mercy is supposed to be this pure HPS character. Lucio is mainly big burst speed boost. And Zenyatta, Zenyatta's main feature is his damage output, especially with Discord Orb. And in my opinion, Ana kind of fulfills both roles of Mercy and Zenyatta at the moment. She can deal tremendous amounts of damage. Her nano boost can be used very offensively, but she is still able to out-heal Mercy in 80% of her games. which I think is the main issue with her at the moment.
Yeah, I definitely would have thought that they would nerf both aspects, like the healing down 50% and then the healing debuff down 50%, because, you know, negating all healing is just so insane.
I agree. That's actually my proposal.
It's never going to be. It's always going to be something that really limits what Blizzard can do with her, because just the fact that she can negate all healing, it's like, well, where do you go from there? That's already one of the strongest abilities in the game, considering how healing centric this game is. Like, healing is so important in this game. It's pretty much balanced around healing. So you think that Ana is still going to be pretty strong, right?
Definitely. This won't have any effect on the tank meta at the moment.
Yeah, I agree that Ana. I mean, I'm still gonna play Ana the same way. I feel like every team's gonna play Ana the same way anyway. It's pretty much the same.
I need to be honest. The problem isn't like, I actually like the fact that they are making these incremental changes. I just don't agree with their direction. I think that they aren't seeing the problem at hand here.
Well, I agree that I'm glad they finally started going with the incremental approach. Remember how their changes used to always be like, oh, I think Zenyatta needs a little buff. Let's give him 50 health, and let's make his damage a little bit lower, but we're going to increase his ult, and we're going to buff it in 3 different ways. And same thing with D.Va. They like buffed her in 4 different ways at the same time.
To be fair, it worked a lot better with Zenyatta. I think that D.Va, the problem with D.Va isn't even that she's, you know, that she got buffed so hard. It's just that Ana allows her to play in this really, really offensive way that she's played at the moment. It sounds a little, you know, generalizing, but I think that Ana is the main issue for, you know, Overwatch's problems.
Well, speaking of D.Va, D.Va got a little bit of a nerf too. A little bit of a weird nerf. It's hard to figure out. It's hard to see exactly what the nerf did, but just by looking at it, you have to think about it for a little bit. So of course her overall health stayed the same, like her overall amount of HP or whatever, but she exchanged some armor for health, so she has lower armor now and more health. If you remember the old D.Va, like before, in the before time of long ago, of like 2 months ago, the old D.Va had 100 health and 400 armor, and they buffed her health by 100. And the new D.Va, of course, has 400 health and 200 armor, so she still has more HP. It's just that now certain heroes that were absolutely shut down by her huge armor values before, like Tracer, I guess Sombra, that I'm playing right now, Reaper, they're going to be doing a lot more damage once that initial only 200 armor is chewed through.
Definitely, and especially Zarya. Like, Zarya is already one of the strongest picks against D.Va at the moment, just because she can counteract the defense matrix, and this is actually going to make Zarya a very attractive pick against D.Vas.
Well, they also changed another thing of her too, though. They changed the cannons, like you said before, and that's kind of a weird change if you read it. It's like, what does it mean? Yeah, if you look, they slightly nerfed her damage. If you do the math, if you crunch the numbers, then she only has like 95% or like 92% of her original damage output she used to have. So it's a very, very slight damage nerf. Yes, but I think that the thing that it wasn't really meant to be a nerf, I don't think. It wasn't meant like, oh, she's doing too much damage, let's lower it. What it did is, because now it has more damage, the damage is more normalized.
Yeah, they said that they wanted to increase the consistency at which she deals damage, and you know, this is basically what this change is doing. It's not a big change, but I think it's going in the right direction.
Well, the problem with D.Va before is, have you ever had a D.Va on you, and it looks like your apostle is sorry, IoStux. You need to tell him it's okay. But have you ever have a D.Va on you, and she just like insta kills you, like does way more damage than you're normally used to doing, and you're like, what just happened?
Definitely, especially at ranges, it was just...
Yeah, not close up. I'm talking about like mid-range type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's really weird because the way you played her, sometimes the same play can end up with completely different results just based on how the spread works.
Yeah, so that's something, and I never really thought of it too much before. It was just like, wow, that's weird. D.Va just did like 1,000 damage to me. How'd she do in 1 second? How'd she do that? And this, you know, Blizzard saying that, oh well, her damage was a little inconsistent, made me realize, oh, it's because of her, it's because of her spread. Oh, thanks for the boost, man.
You're Sombra, man. You're the #1 DPS.
The damage! We got him.
Yes. Oh, there's a sleeping. Never mind, he's not sleeping anymore. Okay, but yeah, definitely. The changes to our weapons, I think it's really good. They just wanted to make it feel more consistent. They wanted it to be a lot more predictable, which I think is really good, especially for the competitive side of things.
Well, I think a little bit of randomness is always good, because it's good for you always want to make things a little bit, unpredictable.
Oh yes, definitely.
To a certain
it makes
degree.
things more dynamic and more entertaining to watch.
100% non-randomness always makes for a little bit of boring.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
But
we wouldn't be playing.
We're about to win here. We gotta finish this up.
Well, I have my nano boost pretty soon, so I think we're good. We'll just go
once I'm nanoed, I'm gonna go get a hunting kill. So anyway, Roadhog had the hook changed. There's been 5,000 Reddit threads about it. I don't think we need to talk about it too much, as far as the mechanics go.
I think that the notes themselves were really, not
Yeah,
very
the notes
vague.
pretty much explain it. Like when you read the notes, whatever you think it means is probably what it means. It just means that you're not going to get those crazy lag hooks anymore around the wall. But I mean, if you think about it, everything is like that. This entire game is everything in this game is set up so that it will hit you through walls. It's just that Roadhog's hook was making a lot of people upset because unlike anything else in the game, Roadhog's hook one-shots you. There's no other real ability like that.
It feels very unfair. It's usually this is what happens with abilities that take control away from you. They are usually a lot more frustrating. This is also why, for instance, playing against Widowmaker can be so incredibly frustrating. Because if you get a headshot, then obviously you could have done something against it. You did a basic positional mistake by facing her, but you still get the feeling that you didn't have any way of reacting to it. And I think the same applies to the hook, because you know that you're going to die. The same thing with Maze Freeze. Once you're frozen, then it was obviously your mistake that you got frozen, but you can't do anything after you're frozen. You need to stare into your face and just accept your fate at that point. And I think this is the reason why we see so many complaints about these characters like Roadhog or May.
So do you think it's fair that, like, so for example, if McCree shoots you and you dodge behind the corner on your screen, you still take damage. And no one really complains about that, right? But the Roadhog hook they changed because of how extreme of an ability that is. Do you think it's appropriate to make the Roadhog hook like that, where it kind of is a different rule set because of how powerful
There
it
are
is?
two perspectives. For one, it messes up with the kind of consistency in the way the game is designed. So as you know, the game is kind of leaning towards this favor the shooter style of balancing, where the player himself is supposed to be rewarded, and everything needs to look good on his part, which definitely was the way with Roadhog's hook. It was incredibly forgiving, and stuff like leg interpolation, if the enemies have a high ping, then you would get these crazy hooks around corners. And with Roadhog, they for some reason want to switch this around. The way I look at the changes right now, it'll be that the Roadhog player himself will be very frustrated, because if the enemies suffer from high ping, for example, then they may be behind the wall on their screen. However, the Roadhog player himself thinks, oh, this is a perfectly valid hook. However, the server, says otherwise. So this can be very, very frustrating for the Roadhog player. And in this case, the victim is favored, which I think is a very odd decision, because so far they always try to support the player in their actions. But with this character specifically, I think mainly because of the negative feedback and because of the inconsistencies, they wanted to change this specifically.
All right, so we paused to get into another game. Anyway, let's continue. What I was saying about Roadhog's hook was that I think it's... Oh, get that. By the way, I'm a pro Hanzo. So
That's a pretty good combo.
I think that the key to this is a lot of people are concerned that it's an over nerf. And I'm a little bit concerned too. Like, I think that this might be an over nerf because it is a pretty drastic change to the way that you hook people as Roadhog. Like, there's a lot of hooks that you could have done before that you can't do now. But I think the main thing is it's leaving it open for like more regular, healthy buffs in the future, because the way Roadhog's hooker worked was really limiting what they could do with the hero. It's like, how can you buff Roadhog in a proper way when he can hook people in all these crazy, really terrible ways that people are frustrated by?
So one thing that we haven't talked about is the way they changed it so that the distance the character is pulled towards you is now consistent. So before, characters like Torbjorn or Zenyatta were pulled very closely to you, so you could kill them consistently. Whereas characters like Ana or Genji or even Zarya, they were hooked a little further away from you, so it was very difficult to kill them. But that's, you know, you could circumvent that with the little strafe trick where you turn 90 degrees and then hook them. But now they changed it so that isn't necessary, and you can actually consistently one-shot characters like Ana or Mei or Reaper without doing the straight thing, which I think is not even a buff per se, because you could accomplish it anyways with the little side strafe move.
Yeah, what they did was they basically took the spaghetti out of the skill.
Oh,
because
definitely.
People are really concerned that it's like, oh, it's gonna be an over nerf, and yeah, I think it might be an over nerf, but think of it like it's really giving a lot more room to deal with Roadhog in other ways.
It's healthy for the game in the end.
All right, so one more hero. We got Sombra. Huge changes. Her hack time has been decreased by 0.2 of a second.
I think that this change is very underwhelming, to say the least. The reason Sombra doesn't get picked isn't even that she's, you know, necessarily weak. It's just that she doesn't work in this meta, in this very tank-heavy meta, for the same reason that characters like Reaper or Tracer, you know, are kind of struggling. Sombra's weapon is incredibly weak against characters with armor, and we have plenty of those around at the moment. So
well, I think it was good, because I don't want to see too much of a buff onto Sombra right now, because, you know, what if she's the next Ana and it turns out like, oh, the only reason that she wasn't good is because you guys were just playing her wrong the entire time.
What I'm afraid of is that they are buffing her and then they are nerfing Ana simultaneously. So the meta shifts drastically and she gets buffed. And I think that this may
it's just a tiny buff though. Basically
it's pretty tiny, yes.
What it accomplishes is it makes hacking the Reinhardt shield more consistent. That's all it does, really.
Basically, yeah, even health packs, you know, just shaves of time. I think it, you know, over the course of a match, it maybe saves you maybe 5 seconds to 10 seconds.
You also have to think though, like it's actually bigger than 0.2 of a second, because if you consider the lag, and all that, and human reaction time, it's literally impossible to actually react to something in less than like half a second, let's say, you know, at least 300 milliseconds between your human reaction and the actual lag in the game. So when you're reducing it by 0.2 of a second, it's not going from 1 second to 0.8 seconds. It's actually going more for like 0.4 seconds of actual time you can react to it, like half a second, let's say, to 0.3 seconds. So it is bigger than a 20% buff. But IoStux, that's it. We carried 2 games. We're not going to finish this. I think we don't have time for the King of the Hill because we're out of heroes, unfortunately. But anyway, thanks for coming on. It was an interesting discussion, everyone.
Oh, I definitely liked it.
Go, if you want more educational Overwatch content, go check out IoStux in the comments below. He's okay. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the series down in the comments. Like I said, it is new. I have plenty of really cool personalities, really cool people I can bring on for various topics. So let me know what you think if you want to see some more. Anyway, guys, as always, stay positive and have a great day. Peace out, guys.